Okay, we're going to go directly to line number 2 where we have Jeremy on the line. How are you, Jeremy?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining us all the way from Nova Scotia.
Yeah, no problem. And I can't tell you how happy I am to be on after Dale Kirby.
Fantastic. Any special shout-out that you'd like to give him, or is it more of a political essence that fires the fuel of Jeremy Rumbolt's lower portions? What's on the bill?
There are many fuels to that fire, but I was talking to you there, I guess, was it, 2 weeks ago now when Dunderdale stepped down?
That's right, yeah.
And I just happened to be waiting on the line when the news came through, and I think I said something then like Newfoundland politics couldn't surprise me anymore. Mm-hmm. And after, I can't really call it a defection now after they left the NDP, but to see the great big fun Liberal Party that's starting to pop up now is a pretty weird and jarring experience.
Indeed, particularly because you're not in the thick of it. You are, of course, in Nova Scotia, where the climate is a little different, right? But what do you think about the fact that what's most interesting that I find about this shift, this growing, the incredible Hulk known as a Liberal Party, that instead of getting angrier, it gets happier and it gets bigger. You have the support staff that seems to be coming with Mr. Kirby and Mr. Mitchell War away from the New Democratic Party, the youth, the blood, the vibrancy of those folks that get the vote out. In all cases, as you know, it's the young folk and the old that manage to do so. And it seems that Mr. Kirby and Mr. Mitchell are bringing both with them.
Yeah, and when you look at it, they were 2/5 of what was the elected NDP apparatus.
That's right.
So whatever staff, that's a huge chunk of staff. You only look at it as 2 people, but when you're coming out of a group of 5, and we know they're short-staffed as it is, and they were certainly the most vocal members of the NDP when comes to going on the news, getting out there on Twitter, interacting with the public. Certainly, they were the 2 sort of behemoths of that party.
Mm-hmm. And there they are. They have crossed the floor. I think they're finally the folks that work in the House of Assembly have unscrewed the chairs and moved them closer to the leader, Mr. Ball.
Well, yeah, that seems like a full-time job in itself now, just moving furniture up there on the hill.
Absolutely. So tell me, as you go through the halls of your academic institution over there, you're at NASCAT, is that correct?
Yes, indeed.
The Academy for the Arts of Nova Scotia. What do people say about Newfoundland and Labrador politics? Do they look at you and say, "What is happening"?
Yeah, that's come up a few times, mostly because I'll just be talking about it or whatever, but a lot of people, for the most part, just ignore Newfoundland like it's that place that has some people and some oil, and we might get some money sometime, but otherwise let's not really talk about it. So seeing all this pop up in the news, everyone's really not concerned all of a sudden, just wondering what is going on. We thought you guys sort of had it all together, being a half province and that. So it's been basically a circus trying to describe to people like, oh yeah, they were doing great, and then now they're doing terrible. I don't know what's going on with the parties.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch from afar and, of course, from close up as well. A lot of us are struggling to make some reason or understanding out of it, and others are just shrugging their shoulders and saying, well, hey, that's just the way it goes. Newfoundland and Labrador are famous for political floor crossings, as you know. And, well, you know what? There's a lot of people that do that in Canada, too. My all-time favorite floor crosser in my experience was when I was, in the days in my 20s when I was in Montreal, and Lucien Bouchard turfed himself out of Brian Mulrooney's cabinet and not only crossed the floor, but started up his own band.
Yeah, and I think having people cross parties to parties that are ideologically on a complete polar opposite of what they at least claim to be on paper has sort of been, it's definitely the most jarring thing that happened. And, that photo op there early in the week when Kirby and Mitch Moore announced they were going to the Liberals, and there's a picture of them smiling with Paul Lane. 6 months ago, he was tearing them apart on Twitter, talking about all the NDP money trees and all that. And to see them smiling and happy, shaking hands, talking about how they're going to form a new government together, it's completely jarring. And at this point, I think apathy towards political parties is probably the best way to go. Just vote whoever represents you the best. Don't get involved in all this party nonsense.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple of ways to look at this I think that every rational human being has the right to change their mind. Even
100%.
Even if they're getting paid to make decisions on behalf of the people who put them in office, right? Mm-hmm. There are times, but there are ways to do it that look better than others, obviously.
Oh yeah, it's all about the context and the way you want to go. But it is public spectacle, it is public theater, so it's all about the way everyone else views how you're doing it. I think it probably could have been handled a bit better. I mean, everyone going out to the Liberals, certainly a great win for them. They're not going to complain. But in terms of how the public are looking at it, they're not as sold on the big, happy Liberal Party as I think the Liberals want them to be.
And it's fascinating to think that, a few weeks ago, they were trying to claw each other's eyes out using verbal sparring, if you will. Mm-hmm. And now, they're happy to be in the same caucus. But at the same time, it just shows you that you can talk and have a war of ideas and policy, but you can still be civil, and change your mind along the way. Yet last night I did a little research into Northwest Territories. I don't know if you, were listening in, and if you weren't, I forgive you, but, check out the Northwest Territories Legislative Assembly. They have 19 members that sit in the Legislative Assembly out there. Each riding is about 2,300 people. There are no political parties.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They're completely sort of apolitical in that sense. They're all sort of representing on paper at least, representing what the people of their district want. And I suppose that's what it should be in every democratic system, regardless of if you have a political party or not. But oftentimes people just go for the root for whatever color you want. And I think it's a lot of that partisan stuff that gums up the works and stops a lot of real meaningful dialogue from happening within the political system, especially in Newfoundland.
One of the most absurd and silliest times when I was in the political spheres, I was one of those folks that crosses your names off the list when you vote, one of the invigilators. And I was working for the Progressive Conservatives, and my tie had orange colors, and there were some orange stripes. And somebody from the Liberal Party came over to me, I'll never forget this, and said, "You should take that tie off because you're demonstrating partisan colors." And I was floored, blown away. I was like, "Really, kid? This is how you're going to play this?" But so now, of course, we live in a time of, I guess you could say we're color blind, and it's going to be interesting to see. Jeremy, one last thing before I let you go and we go to the break. You are not living in Newfoundland and Labrador anymore. You're from the northern part of the island. What do you miss the most?
It's really weird. I guess obviously, of course, family, friends, that sort of thing. But it's, you know what? This is going to be ridiculous.
Go.
But buying beer in a convenience store.
Wow, you should do your next degree in Quebec.
Well, who knows? As long as the beer's cheap, I'll go wherever.
Jeremy, I'm going to have to let you go. Thanks for joining us again. Listen, if you wait in these 2-week stints, you'll never know what will happen in 2 weeks in politics. Perhaps you are the person that is orchestrating all of these things that are happening here.
Well, I can't make any official announcements, but I'm thinking strongly about running for the PC leadership, so keep your eyes open for that. Okay.
Well, I hope you have $400,000. Jeremy Rumbolt, Thanks for joining us, and have yourself a great evening.
All right. You too, man. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Bye.
And follow him, at Jeremy Rumbolt on Twitter.